So we're going to go over number 13 through 19 on your study guide. Number 13, Tara bought a new iPad for $425. If sales tax is 8% and she received 10% off for being a student, what is the discount and total of her purchases? If needed, render answer to the nearest cent. So let's break it down into some steps. Step 1, we're going to find the discount off of her total purchase. So the discount, let's pick out some important information. She bought a new iPad for $425. Well, we don't want the sales tax right now, but we do want that she receive 10% off for being a student. So let's go and take that information and solve for the discount. So part equals percent times whole. I'm going to use the percent equation. We're solving for the part. We know that a percent is going to be 10%. And our whole is $425. Well, 10% of 425 is $42.50. So the discount is $42.50. Step number 2 is to subtract the discount off of her total purchase. So I'm going to take $425 and I'm going to subtract $42.50. Well, if you decide not to use a calculator, you can show your work such as this way. You'll need to borrow. So that means it'll be $382.50. So step 3 is to find the sales tax of the amount you found in step 2. Well, to go back to the information above, 8% is my sales tax, but I only pay tax on the iPad after the sale. So that means that I'm going to take $382.50, which is my new whole, and then my percent is 800, and I'm solving for my part. So if I use the percent equation again, part equals percent, so 0 and 800, times 382.50. Again, it's up to you if you want to use the calculator or if you want to do that by hand. I'm going to use my calculator. All right, so if I take 800 and I multiply that by 382.50, that gives me $30.60. Step number 4, add the amount you found in step 2 to the amount you found in step 3 to find the total amount. So that means I'm going to take $382.50 and add $30.60. And that will give me my total. So $382.50 plus $30.60 gives me the grand total of $413.10. That is how much Tara will have to pay for the iPad with the 10% discount and the 8% sales tax. So we're going to use the table to complete the following questions. So we have the year 2012, 13, and 14. The students are 239, 263, and 275. So number 14, the table above shows the amount of students who attended Gurry Middle School for the past several years. Find the percent increase from 2012 to 2014. Render answer to the nearest whole percent. So from 2012 to 2014, well, we're going to take our new amount, 275, and subtract it from our original of 239 and divide it by original of 239. So 275 bear with me, 275 minus 239 gives me a difference of 36, and I divide it by 239, which gives me 0.1506, and there's more numbers. Oh, I'm sorry, that should say 06. There's more numbers after that, but I'm just rounding it to that. And I'm going to multiply this by 100 to make it into a percentage. So that's 15.06, but it wants the nearest whole percent, so that's a 15% increase. So let's move on to number 15. We're going to find the percent of change. Is it an increase or decrease? Round your answer to the nearest whole percent. So Rachel paid $12 for a pair of pants that normally cost $16. All right, so this is going to be a decrease. And I know that because the original price was $16 and then it became $12. So that's less. So 16 minus 12 divided by the original price of 16. Well, that gives me 4 divided by 16. 4 divided by 16 is 25 hundredths, which is 25%. So this is a 25% decrease. Number 16, Miguel paid $32 for a new pair of shoes that cost the store $22.50. This is an increase. And I know it's an increase because if the store spent $22.50, but you're paying $32, that means that you are paying more. So that's an increase. So I'm going to take 32 minus $22.50. I'm going to divide it by the original price of $22.50. Now I subtracted in this order because I have a larger number on the left. So I take 32 minus 2250, and that gives me 950, and I divide that by 2250, which gives me 0 and 400, sorry, yeah. So I'm going to multiply this by 100, and that gives me 42 and 0.2%, which it wants it to the nearest whole percent. So this is 42% increase. All right, so continuing on to number 17. We're going to find the missing values using the formula I equals PRT. Look this up and define it. All right, well, we have I equals PRT. I is my interest. P is my principal. R is my rate, as a which is a percent as a decimal. And T is time in years. All right, so Henry bought a $1,400 certificate of deposit. At the end of 6 months, he received $112 in simple interest. What annual rate of interest did the certificate pay? Round your answer to the nearest percent. So I'm going to take I equals P equals R equals and T equals. I'll write the equation again over here. I equals PRT. And I'm going to define what all of these are. All right, so the 1,400, that's my initial amount. That's my principal. So I'm going to label that as 1,400. At the end of 6 months, that's going to be my time. But 6 months has to be in years. So that's 6 months out of 12 months. So that's half a year. So time is 1/2. Or you could also write it as 5/10, whichever one you would prefer. And then we have the information of $112. That's my simple interest. And it wants to know what annual rate of interest is. Well, that's going to be my R. I don't know what that is. So I'm going to plug all of these into my equation, I equals PRT. So 112 equals 1,400 times R times 5/10 or 1/2. So 112 equals, well, half of 1,400 is going to be 700 times. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 700. Okay. Again, using my calculator. $112 divided by 700 is 1600ths for the rate, which that then becomes 16%. So Henry has a 16% rate of interest. All right, number 18. Principal is $300. Rate is 5.5%. Time is 5 years. We're solving for the interest. That's our I. T, R, and P. So this one actually is nice because it really gives us, gives us all the parts. So I equals 300 times 0 and 55 thousandths times 5. Sometimes it gives us that information and sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to take 300 times 0 and 55 hundredths times 5. So the interest is $82.50. All right, number 19 means we're solving for the P. R is 6%, which is 6 hundredths. Oh, actually above I should have put that for my rate. Time is going to be 2. And my interest, which is my I, is $400. So 400 equals P times 6 hundredths times 2. So P times 6 hundredths times 2. So I'm going to take 6 hundredths and multiply that by 2. So 400 equals P times 12 hundredths. Divide both sides by 12 hundredths to get my P by itself. So 400 divided by 12 hundredths is $3,333.33. That's a lot of threes. All right, great job.